Hey guys, Michael here from michaelsherlock.com. How many of you are still using Blackberries? Anyone? Anyone still using Blackberries? 2010 was an extremely poor year for RIM's Blackberry lineup. A lot of their operating system was completely demolished and OS share demolished by iOS as well as Android. And their hardware was really lackluster. The Torch could have been a killer product, but it was completely underpowered and really, slowed down the launch and acceptance of BlackBerry OS 6. So I have a little bit of inside information from my friends over at Boy Genius Reports, BGR.com, a leak of their 2011 lineup of phones. We have 4 smartphones, so let's get into it. The first one, the BlackBerry Curve, codenamed Apollo. This 2011 BlackBerry Curve will feature an 800 MHz CPU with a full QWERTY keyboard, a 5 megapixel camera with flash with an HVGA 480 by 360 pixel display, and it'll also feature NFC support. If I haven't mentioned it in a previous video, and I'll specifically mention it in an upcoming video, I feel that NFC is really the way of the future, and I think 2011 is going to be a big year for NFC, or near field communication. Next up, the BlackBerry Bold Dakota. This one is really a pretty cool device. It's the same bold form factor that we've seen in the past, so a screen and a full QWERTY keyboard. But this screen is a 2.8-inch 640 by 480, so that's pretty good pixel resolution for a 2.8-inch screen. But this is a capacitive touchscreen, and again, that full QWERTY keyboard that we all love and know. It's quite good, that BlackBerry Bold keyboard. A 5 megapixel camera with 720p video capabilities, with flash and image stabilization. Now this phone you'll actually be able to turn into a 3G mobile hotspot and tether with up to 5 users, which is pretty exciting, and it's a very cool feature to have. It'll have a magnometer, an accelerometer, and a proximity sensor, among other ways that among other instruments that are built in, as well as NFC support. Are we starting to see a trend with the BlackBerry line? Now the BlackBerry Torch 2, this will be coming in Q3 of 2011. This will actually feature a 1.2 gigahertz processor with hardware acceleration, so some of that graphics performance and stuff will be offloaded and it'll work much better. A 3.2-inch 640 by 480 capacitive screen, sliding QWERTY keyboard. This is the same basic form factor as the original Torch that launched on AT&T. 512 megabytes of RAM, a 5 megapixel camera with flash, as well as, you guessed it, NFC support. And finally, I hope I'm not going through this too quickly for you, but the BlackBerry Storm 3, probably for Verizon Wireless, although we will probably see global carrier options as well. This will be launching somewhere around September of 2011. It'll sport a 3.7-inch 800 by 480 pixel capacitive display, again a 1.2 gigahertz processor, just like the Torch 2, 5 megapixel rear-facing camera with 720p video recording, and a 3G mobile hotspot. Now all of these will be running BlackBerry OS 6.1, so they'll be significantly improved over the models that we saw in 2010. The RIM has really put a lot of time into fixing up the BlackBerry's browser. Now another thing that we'll definitely be seeing sometime this year is the Playbook. Sprint announced that they'll be the first 4G carrier to have the Playbook this year, which is pretty exciting for Sprint's network to have another high-quality tablet on there. But we should be seeing Wi-Fi only versions somewhere around March, April of this year. Now the Playbook originally, or rather it's a dual-core tablet. It really is going to compete well with the tablet lineups for this year, assuming that BlackBerry can work out all the battery performance kinks that we've seen with pure release hardware. I'm really looking forward to the Playbook, actually. I think it really offers a nice blend of tablet, of power, of portability, assuming again that the power issues have been, in terms of battery, have been resolved. I really think that the BlackBerry lineup overall is definitely a very cool thing. And to just go back to the Playbook for a second, I really think that at the end of last year and early this year, there's been a lot of hype for Android tablets. If BlackBerry OS can really transcend and you can get your BlackBerry to work really nicely with the Playbook, and it can really, kill any Android tablets, because Android is a very fragmented thing. And just as Apple, people sometimes criticize Apple for having a walled garden environment, it still allows them to create an excellent blend of hardware and software, and it allows it to work very well for consumers. So if RIM can do a very similar thing with their BlackBerry lineup and incorporating that Playbook in there as well, I'll be quite excited. I'm really looking forward to what RIM has to offer. At the end of this year we saw, or at the end of 2010, we saw a lot of kind of crap, if you will, in terms of smartphones, with a lot of just Android devices being shoved out there, all looking exactly the same, all being so generic. And if, BlackBerry can bring some originality and some coolness and some awe factor back to the market, I'd be quite excited. So that's just the roadmap for Blackberries in 2011. What's your favorite Blackberry? Do you think the Playbook is going to be the epitome of RIM's lineup this year? Or do you think something like the improved Torch 2 can finally take the reins and be a killer smartphone? I'd love to hear your feedback in the comment section below. Thanks for watching, and have a nice day.